Hey everyone, we're gonna wait for a few minutes, see if a couple more people jump on, and then we will get going with this. If you could, please comment live, hashtag live if you're watching this live. And if you are watching a rerun, please comment hashtag rerun. And then as always, you will have dibs on a free design element from tonight's live. So we'll wait a few more minutes and then we'll get started. All right, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining me tonight. This is Leslie from Wall to Wall Vinyl, and we're doing Talk About It Tuesday in a live tutorial. So I appreciate all of you that will take the time to watch this on rerun or join us with the live. Just to kind of start out tonight, we are going to be pressing a Buffalo Plaid table runner tonight. Hey Angie, thanks for joining. As well as a chair cover. So I purchased these blanks from Single J's. I cannot stress enough, hi Renee, welcome, how great the quality is. If you guys look up in it is now called the feature panel in the group, you will see, let me see if I can switch this over. All right, you guys, I'm gonna hurry and switch you around real quick. So if you're looking at the computer, go up to the top of the group, and up here if you go to featured, that will give you, it's basically the announcement section. They just renamed it. So if you go down, you'll see my approved vendor list. I cannot say enough that the vendors that I have on there, I have purchased from before. They are good quality products, and I wouldn't have them listed on my site if I didn't feel that they were good. So please check them out. Really, really glad for those of you that joined, and I so appreciate your support. So let's go over to the press. Today I am going to be using my swing away press. I'm just going to hurry and take you off of here real quick and flip you around. So I'm going to use the swing away today. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm using I'm doing a big substrate, And I'm going to, and so it's nice to be able to move it on the board, but still have it stable so it's not going to be moving my design. I also have found that these are easiest to do in pieces. So we'll be moving the table up and down, the table runner. I didn't tape it all together. I'm going to be doing it in pieces. So if you look, here's the table runner. Aren't those adorable? And then there's the chair table. I wanted the chair cover. I wanted you to see it all laid out. And tonight, the free element that you will be getting if you comment live, hashtag live, or if you rewatch it, please comment hashtag rewind. And I will send you the link for the free table, the free chair cover. So that will be tonight's treat for joining. Let me hurry and put you back in there. All right, you guys, I need you to give me a thumbs up when you can see the press well. Can you guys see it okay? Okay. So I have found on these long substrates that it works the best for me to do them in sections. All right, Angie, I can see that you're on, and Renee, can you guys tell me if you can see this okay? So this is a 16 by 20 press, and I've mainly put it so that I get the snowman in. I mainly want to get the design with the elements that are going to go together. So I should be able to get, I'm going to bring this over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this snowman, I'm going to cut off these two snowflakes. I have planned on doing it on my other press. But I really thought this would probably be a little bit easier. So we're going to go ahead and use this one. So I'm going to leave my board where it goes. And the way I have designed this table runner, and what you will see, if you guys can look at this, you will rarely get a perfectly sewn, perfectly even when you order one of these. There's always going to be a little bit of give and take with the seams and whatnot. You're never going to get a perfectly straight every time, 10 inches by 70 inches. So as I say every time, make sure very first you measure your substrate. And then with any of my soft substrates, I always press them first to make sure that I have gotten the extra moisture out of them. So I would say maybe 15 seconds. My press is set at 385. This is my press that runs a little bit hot. So I always I always put it between 385 and 390. The manufacturer's instructions on these are 400 for 60 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and get I'm going to go ahead and get a good area pressed. And as you can see, I got rid of all those wrinkles that were there. It's just going to make it nicer for you to press. It also gets rid of the excess moisture that can be in the material so that it's nice and prepped for subbing on. All right, and I'm gonna go from side. So what I'm gonna do to make sure that I get it even is I'm gonna get my little measuring tape. And I'm gonna go 4 inches, and I'm actually gonna go 5 inches from the bottom. And I'm gonna use my Easy Tack spray. I really, really like my Easy Tack spray. It's kind of my favorite thing. So I'm going to put, it's another nice reason to have the board. So for those of you that have swing away presses, one thing I want to differentiate with the swing away press versus the clamshell press. The swing away press has a different pressure to it. Let me just kind of bring you over and show you. So the swing away press has this screw right here. This is where the center of the press is, where your pressure is going to be distributed. So these are really nice for thicker substrates. And if you're doing something like this where you need a board, you can do this. So this press I have over here is a clamshell. And my clamshell is kind of my go-to for subbing. It just tends to work really, really well. I really, really like my clamshell. But when I'm doing something big like this that I need a board on, I prefer my swing away. Anytime I'm doing my dish towels, anything like that, I use this board. But if you don't have a board, that's okay. If you don't have a swing away, that's okay. With your clamshell, I have used a thicker piece of cardboard and just cut it down. It's just the right thickness that you can use your clamshell and it's not going to ruin the pressure. If you look at your clamshell and the way that the clamshell is set up, all of your pressure is back here. Sorry, you guys. All of your pressure is back here where it clamps down. So that's kind of the difference between the clamshell and your clamshells and your swing-aways. So another thing that works is you can get a very thin piece of MDF board. I would not go super thick with your clamshells because what's going to end up happening is you're going to throw off the pressure and you're going to get the pressure at the back of the clamshell, but then the wood at the front is not going to get even pressure. So I would make sure that you are using a thin MDF board, but like I said, I have done it before and had great success with just a thicker piece of cardboard for my bigger substrates. So I don't want you to worry if you don't have this exact press. It's okay, it will work okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I can see my design really well through here. The other thing with these, like I said, the seams are not perfectly even. I'm a little bit picky. And so, you know, something like this, what I would do is probably cut out this snowflake here so that the whole idea of it is to make sure it bleeds off of the side. But you don't want to get onto this because what ends up happening is you'll see the black ink. So I'm going to go ahead and measure 6 inches is where I want the bottom of my snow to be. So you guys, I'm going to tell you a funny story and ask you not to judge me. I mentioned this on the giveaway on Black Friday. Oh, and real quick, when I print these out, I make sure I print it in 3 sections and I made sure I labeled from bottom to top 1, 2, 3 on the back with just a Sharpie marker. You do pencil, whatever, but make sure you label so that you can keep track of what goes where. And then I am going to go ahead and just line up my little Mr. Snowman. And as you can see over here, we want this snowflake to bleed off the side. So I'm just going to get my mark down here to know where I'm at. I want to be at the 6-inch mark. And with the board, so with my board right here, I am not going to move, it's not going to move my design. So I would be okay to go ahead and press. If I were having to move my design or something up and down, what I would do is put something heavy. I really like my hole punch. And then very lightly spray the design, very lightly, not the substrate. And then I would tack it down. And then I would do the same thing, lift this up and do it the same thing to the other side. Where I've got my board down, I don't need to worry about it as much. And then I'm gonna go ahead and move this and we'll do our first press. As always, make sure that you are protecting your press, your platen, and use a new piece of paper every time. And my entire design fits down there, but if it didn't, what I would do is get my design centered where I wanted it to be, and then I would just move my board left or right a little bit to be able to press another section. But it's where it's covering nicely, it's centered, and I can get the whole design in this one press. These are a little bit more labor intensive. However, they are also fairly, they're a good profit margin. I would sell these for probably $40. And I believe on Single J's, they are $13.50 or $12.50. So there's a pretty good profit margin with these. All right, you guys, so you can see there's our first one. Now I want to add in my little snowflake that goes with the snow. Or goes with the snowman. And it went right above his head. The reason I didn't add it is because the seam's a little bit crooked, and I want this one, it doesn't matter, but this one I want to bleed off into the side without actually bleeding off into the side, because you don't want, what you don't want is to have your color bleed off into the buffalo plaid. So I'm going to go ahead and just press that. So I was telling those that were on the live on Black Friday, I had this nasty table that we'd had since we got married, and we've been married, will be 22 years this year. And so the table was nasty. So about 3 years ago, I told my husband I really, really, really wanted a farmhouse table. And my husband is really, really good at working with wood. He's just very busy. And so he told me he would build me a barnhouse table. And it is 3 years later, and I have no table at all. So I did some Black Friday shopping and bought myself a barnhouse table. So this is my table runner for that barnhouse table. So you guys, I can't even tell you how excited I am about this. So you guys see, I wanted it to come right off, but I didn't want it to bleed onto the buffalo plaid, so that it showed the color on the buffalo plaid. So now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. So these are kind of labor intensive in that you have to press a lot, but they're super easy. It's not one of those projects. Hey, Lindsay, I saw that you were on. Thank you for joining. Shelly, hello. It's one of those projects. Lindsay was talking earlier on a post in her group about those projects that you take, those orders that you take, that sometimes you're just like, why in the world did I ever agree to this? This is not one of those. Yes, it's a little bit cumbersome as far as you have to do multiple presses, but it's easy to do. So kind of give you a heads up of what's coming in the next couple weeks. Next, Talk About Tuesday, I will actually be featuring a product from Miss Lindsay. She has the cutest Santa crates that are adorable. So I will have a special design that I'm coming up with for that. They would be so much fun to use on Christmas Eve. So we'll be doing that next week. The following week, we'll kind of move more into gift giving. And so I'm going to do a phone charger that Elizabeth Banseth has in stock. And then we'll go after that point. After that point, most likely we're going to start into Valentine's Day type stuff. Because for those of us in the sublimation boutique world, that's where we kind of need to be heading. And you guys, I did a not so good thing in that on my other side I got lucky. Make sure you lint roll. I always seem to forget that, but it is a very important step. So make sure you lint roll. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other one. Now with this one, it doesn't have a snowflake down here. And so I am going to focus my energy on making sure that this snowflake is right flush with the side. And that's the, so if you see that is perfectly straight, do you see right here? That's why for me, these have been a lot easier to do splitting up the design instead of doing it all at once and taping this big, huge, long thing together. These are about, these table runners are about 70 inches. Altogether, they're about 14 inches wide with the buffalo plaid. The sublimation part is 10. So, so for me, it's a lot easier. If any of you have done these, make a shout out and let me know what has worked best for you. You guys, I don't want this to ever be a group where you just feel like I'm talking at you. I want you guys to have a voice. I want you to chime in with things that you've done that have worked for you. Chime in with questions. I can promise you this, I certainly do not have all the answers. Absolutely not. Not even close. But I can promise you this. If I don't have the answer, I will find it for you. And that's going to be a lot of the time, but I promise I will find it. So this one's going to be wider than my press. So it is more important to me that I'm going to go ahead and make sure I do the Easy Tack on it. And it's just a very, very light coat. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just so again I make sure that it's not going to move on me. There's a lot of different sprays you can use. Easy Tack is, I've used it a lot and it's my favorite. It's very, the thing I like about it is that you can move it after you have done, your, if you put it down and it's not quite where you want it, you can adjust it. And so that's what I like the best about the Easy Tack. So now I'm going to go ahead and I just moved my board over so that I could get the whole, make sure that I have the design underneath the heating element. And I measured to my 6 inches. I want to, so my goal with this is to make sure that I have, you can see it, but at the same time it's not, I don't want it just hanging down into the buffalo plaid. I have not yet listed any of these table runner designs. Will you guys let me know if you would like to see them? Shout it out in the comments and I'll make sure I get them listed for you. Again, those that are here live or those that take the time to replay, I will be doing the chair cover will be for the next 48 hours. The chair cover will be your freebie for tonight. So if you would like, just comment that you are watching hashtag live, and I will make sure that I send you the link to your free download. Thank you so much, Renee. I will go ahead and list these. I thought the blue would be really cute with the black buffalo plaid. There's black and white buffalo plaid. But the table runners you could also get, there's table runners you can get off Amazon. There's, if you're not a buffalo plaid fan. But what I was thinking is I would do table runner and chair sets. And start offering those. So just let me know if that's something that you would like to see. All right, you guys, there's the second one. And then you've got your middle section. So we are almost there. So with these, occasionally if you weren't to pre-press this, with these, occasionally you can get a wrinkle or whatnot and your design will get hung up on that. I had one that I did not too long ago and that's what I had happen, and so the design had a crease in it. So just take the extra time. What I have learned, I've been doing sublimation for about 3.5 years now, and what I have learned is that taking the extra time is well worth it, because in the long run it will save you a lot of headache. All right, and then this is my number 2 piece. And I have this piece here that I want to make sure lines up, and I have this piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of those off so that I can ensure that it lines up the way that it's supposed to be on the side. Because like I said, the seams sometimes can be pretty uneven. But we want to not show that they're uneven. So I'm gonna go ahead and line this up here. You guys can see here, this is my number 2 piece, and that's why I've got the arrow pointing down. Because it can get a little bit confusing, and I also always try to kind of gang my designs together when I print them so that I can save some of my paper and not necessarily have the entire, if I have a whole bunch to print, if I can put them together, then it's gonna save some paper in the long run. So again, I'm going to put my little heavy weight. It doesn't have to be a hole punch, just something that will hold your design there. And I'm gonna just spray a very light piece, and then the same thing on this side. Because I am gonna have to double press this one as well. Okay, Lindsay, I am pressing I am printing on a 15 or on an ET 15,000. So it prints 13 by 19. It also, you can feed 13-inch wide. They have rolls of them. I haven't had a ton of success doing it. It's just been kind of a headache, and I've gotten so used to printing, cutting and piecing prints together that it really hasn't been an issue for me. So that's generally what I do, but you can get rolls. You can get them off Condi. I've gotten them off Heat Press Nation, rolls that you can use and feed through your rear paper feeder. Prior to getting this, the ET 15,000, I had a, gosh, I can't even remember what it's called. It wasn't an Echo Tank. It was the 7100. I don't know. But it had the cartridges. And I'm telling you guys, if you have any extra cash or you just want to save yourself that thing, me and the cartridges, we were worst enemies. And so it is worth every penny to get you an Eco Tank. Whatever one you decide to do, it is so, so worth it. Because me and those cartridges, man, my husband can tell you some stories. I am not usually a cusser, but I maybe sounded a bit like a sailor. All right, and then I'm just gonna add in my final snowflake. And I'm gonna put this guy right here. And then we will be done with our table runner. How fun are these, you guys? I am so excited. And Angie, I agree. I love snowmen. I actually have a couple more designs I'll be putting out with snowmen that I thought would be really cute on the table runners, but this guy's kind of my favorite design that I've done. So yes, Lindsay, it was a 7710. And no joke, every time I use that thing, the cartridges would say they wouldn't recognize it, and I would spend hours trying to adjust and fix them, and this has been so, so much better. So it is worth every penny. I can't state that strongly enough. So do you guys see how nice it is? And you, like I said, you can get a real thin piece of cardboard and do this with your clamshell. But how much nice it is. This is what I'm talking about when you've seen my videos on the Traffic Master doormats, your bigger substrates. It saves so much time, and it's so nice to just be able to move your substrate up and down without messing with your design. Just move your board up and down, and it makes it a lot easier. So let me show you the whole thing. So this is our first. Let's do this. So this is our table runner. Lindsay, I tell you, get you your ET 15,000. You will not regret it. So, like I said, they're about 70 inches long, about 14 inches wide. The sub area is 10 inches long. You guys, I wish you could come through and feel these through the camera. Very high quality. Very, very high quality. So make sure that you make sure you check out the vendors, because these are so nice. And they're lots of fun. And like I said, it might seem intimidating to you because it is such a big substrate, but truly, you guys, it is easy. This is not hard to do. So there's my table runner. Let's go ahead and do the matching chair cover. So I'm just gonna do a pretty simple, I didn't do any snowflakes because my snowflakes are on my table runner, but this will just be the chair cover. And then here's my substrate. Again, really good quality. It's that thicker kind of faux burlap material. Really durable. I've been very, very impressed. I was a little bit worried, but I shouldn't be. Jackie has never let me down when it comes to my sublimation blanks, and I knew Jacqueline, or I didn't know Jacqueline. I found out of Jacqueline when I very first started subbing 3.5 years ago, and I can honestly say I know Elizabeth's fairly new to the blanks game. Lindsay's fairly new to the blanks game. So I have ordered from them, and I've had great success ordering from them. Great products. I've been with Single J's for 3.5 years, and I have never had to send anything back. I've never had to have anything replaced. I have no doubt in my mind the customer service has been fantastic. And but I've never had to send anything back. I have no doubt if I did have to send them back, that it would be, that she would take care of that without any problem, but I've never had to run into that. So please, you guys, check out the vendors that are available in the group, because it will be worth the while. So with these, I'm gonna do a little trick I learned when I did vinyl. And it's to fold your substrate in half. And you can do this when you're, I should have done this when I was pre-pressing it, because then you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And it's just for a couple seconds. But it just helps create a crease so that you know where your half mark is. And then another thing, maybe you guys have never done this, and maybe I'm the lone wolf, but I've done this on garden flags before. Make sure that you are pressing the correct way, because I've done things upside down and it doesn't work very well. Customers aren't going to be real happy with an upside down snowman. And then very likely, and I tend to like to just do the sides so that my design isn't creased, but then you can line it up. So I'm going to just line this up, and it will take a lot of your headache out of trying to find that center mark. So I don't know, anyone on here, do any of you still do vinyl? Or are you mainly doing sublimation? Let me know what the consensus is. So again, I'm doing this, I'm pressing this for, the manufacturer's directions say 400 for 60 seconds. This press runs hot, so make sure you have a heat gun. You check all over your platen to make sure if you have hot spots, cold spots, but this tends to run hot, so I usually put it between 385 and 390 if I need 400, because I've just used it enough that I know that's what it's going to require. So Lindsay, for those of you that maybe don't know her, one of my very favorite vinyl gurus is Silhouette Studio. So if those of you that still use Silhouette Studio to design or whatever you do with it, I have moved a little bit away from that, although I am going to do a real quick live after this for a member of my group that has asked me for some help with printing from Silhouette Studio. So I'm going to do a real quick live after this. But if you go to, it's Silhouette, I will put it at Silhouette University, but it is fantastic. Yeah, I don't love weeding vinyl. Sometimes it's nice to go back to it just to do something different. And I've got to tell you that 15 seconds that you have to do is, yeah, I do think that you could absolutely downsize the design to work on the tree skirt. The tree skirts that Single J's has, Are those the ones you're referring to, Angie? I absolutely think that you could downsize the chair cover and make it work for the tree skirt. Or if you're interested, I'd be happy to come up with a design with the snowflakes added for the tree skirt if you would like that. Just let me know what you guys want. Okay, yes. Do you want me to come up with something, Angie, for the with the snowflakes, or are you happy with just the snowman on it? Okay, you guys, that's our chair cover. Unfortunately, my table has not come yet. So when it does, I will make sure to post pictures of my cute table and the cute chair covers. But until then, I have my table runner and my chair cover ready to go. Do you guys have any questions before we sign off for the night? Go ahead and put them in the chat. And make sure you check out Single J's. She has these. I don't know, Lindsay, if you have any of the table runners. If you do, please throw your link in, and I'll make sure I link to Single J's, to the chair covers and the table runners. Like I said, fantastic quality. Oh, thank you, Angie. I appreciate that. Thanks, Shelly. He's my favorite. He's my favorite design that I do. So I do have a couple more snowman things, but then, like I said, my mind's kind of moving on to Valentine's Day. So we're going to start pushing forward with that. Oh, thank you, Kathy. I really appreciate that. These are not easy for me. I'm not going to lie. These tutorials and these lives they have been very nerve-wracking for me, but I appreciate those that take the time out to visit with me on Tuesdays. I've really enjoyed getting to know you guys. One last question before I go. Are any of you interested in doing Zooms where we get to interact with each other instead of me just chatting at you guys? If you are, we can set up a time that works with people. If not, that's totally fine. The less amount of time behind the camera, the better with this. But if you would like to, I would be more than happy to do that and get to know you guys a little bit more. So just a heads up for those that joined a little bit later, next week we will be doing an awesome showcase on Lindsay's Santa crates. And they are going to be so fun for Christmas Eve and so there's still time to get those out. A lot of people do the Christmas Eve book or pajamas, and they would go so cute in there. So we'll do that next week, next Tuesday, 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time every Tuesday. And then the following week, we will be doing phone chargers from Elizabeth Bansef, and then we'll start into our Valentine's. So some of the ideas I have come up with for Valentine's, we're going to do love note puzzles, some tiered tray bundles that we would like to do, or that I'm really working to do. I used to sew all the time, and I kind of got out of it, but I did order me a sewing machine, so I'm going to start doing some like rag pillows that can go on a tiered tray bundle. So stuff like that. We'll start working into that, but the next couple weeks I've got lined out for you. Please let me know if you would be interested in doing a Zoom. If you do, we'll set up a time and do it so that you guys can get to know each other. Otherwise, we'll just stick with what we're doing. Have a great night, and thank you so much for joining. And Renee, absolutely. I will have Lindsay post those, and so that you guys can follow along next week. Have a great night, you guys.